I saw this as well. Apparently, the ticket sales are not doing well.
Yeah, no shit.
For Jake Paul versus Mike
Jake's
Tyson.
my boy. I like Mike. I just don't. There's just no appetite for this. Nobody wants to see it.
Seats dip below $40. I don't think I've ever, unless it was like a regional event. I've never paid less than like, you know.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
There's just no appetite for it. It just doesn't make sense. They did in too big of an arena. I think they overshot. The other thing is you know, Mike having to pull out because of ulcers before, like that fucked it all up. I don't get the upside. Jake's team's brilliant, so maybe I need to talk to them. There's some sort of upside. Maybe it's a Trojan horse, like I've said before, where, hey, just get this across, we'll get the views, and then, you know, they're going to sign you a 3-fight, some sort of deal, or he gets the UFC into game here. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't see the upside.
If I were Netflix, like, they need like an embedded or a countdown or like HBO's 24/7.
They have one coming this week.
Oh, okay,
it drops
good.
this week.
I'm sure that'll affect numbers because if the production's really good and it's,
yeah, but I just don't. I you know, I fancy myself a marketer. I don't get how you're going to twist this one where it's compelling. I don't. The you know, Mike Tyson, God bless him, pulled out because of ulcers. You know, it's just tough. Eddie Bravo had the best idea. Like, you want to get people intrigued with this fight, which they can't. They keep trying, they can't. Make it bare knuckle. Like, did anybody, oh shit, Jake gets hit with a bare knuckle, Mike Tyson, this thing's over. Because now you're like, are they in cahoots together? Is there a fix going on? Like, and I saw Mike Tyson on an interview with Henry Cejudo. He's like, what is age? We don't know anybody's age. He's like, you know, they tell you you're that old, but I don't feel 50. You're like, oh, okay, this isn't. Then you're 58. Who says that? Well, your birth certificate. You know, there's ways we can track it. You know, he's like, who makes up 365 days a year? And you're like, whoa, this is not the narrative. To say that age isn't real, that this can't be the best move to get people to buy this. I don't get it. But Mike's smart, Jake's smart. I think there's a much bigger play at hand. This is just the appetizer. But I haven't heard anybody talking about it. Nobody's asked me about it. There's nothing. I told you, I always gauge of how big a fight is off the casuals on the streets. But when the first fight was happening, people would talk about it. Since then, this postponement, most people don't even know it's happening.
that's what I'm saying. A good countdown. You get some clips. Let them go viral. Mike looks good.
Good
Jake's
countdown.
saying outlandish shit.
But good countdown he doesn't say outlandish shit because they're buddies.
So behind the scenes, say, look, I'm going to say some outlandish shit, and then say that outlandish
I'm
shit,
with
and
you.
then it goes viral.
I don't know.
I think there's still the potential for this.
Yeah, there could be a build-up, but the big numbers, those days are over. Yeah. I mean, but Netflix put the countdown, I think, probably because they put a lot of money into it, big production, so you start seeing the countdown on it, you know?
It should have been a month. There should have been months of them, like
I'm with you
the
with that,
full
yeah.
swing, and their sports division is so good.
I know, they did that, right? And then he gets an ulcer, and they're like, fuck, and they got to revamp, so they got to push back everything. And they're like, hey, season 3 of whatever it is, Ozark should drop at the same time. It's like, that's where their money's at, So I don't, Squid Games 2's dropping the same time,
I just feel like they're so good at that. Like, you use the ulcers as a storyline and make it compelling. Like, there's a story.
But they haven't done it in sports. It's the first time where it's a live sporting event, fighting. They've never done it. They've done comedy specials live. They've done the roast live, which were a huge success, but they've never done fighting. It's a different animal. Especially, not only is it a different animal, like let's say the UFC signed a deal with them and it was Hamzat Bo Nickel for the world title fight, they can market that. It's tough to do, but there's a blueprint and the UFC can help them out. But your first live fight ever is a 58-year-old, and this, and Jake Paul, who's not, he's a boxer, but he comes from a different background. Like, that's your first job in this field. It's gonna be tough. Because you don't want to be taken, you don't want to be turned into like an old school Bellator where you're a joke of the fight game, right? Because if you're Netflix, so you're in the Jake Paul business. So is KSI Jake Paul next, or are you in the real fight business? and you're putting on big boy fights. Terrence Crawford, like, are we going that lane? Are you hoping you get a UFC deal? Like I said, you get a Hamzat versus Bo Nickel on there, or Izzy versus DDP, like Sean Strickland, like you're in that market. So these people are way smarter, way wealthier than me, so I'm sure there's a bigger play. I don't see the angle right now. I don't get it. Whoever booked a 110,000 seater or 80,000 seater in Dallas, the fuck you doing? It's not Mike Tyson from 1991. Also, in the clips, you're right, it'll work because even my dad, like, boy, that Tyson connects. This thing's over. Cool. We've seen him fight guys. We saw him fight Roy Jones Jr. That was, at this point, 3 years ago. So do you think, I'm just spitballing ideas here, do you think in 3 years at his age he's gotten quicker and faster? No. But you're going to see these clips, but you're not even seeing a ton of them either. So I for the life of me, I don't get it. I don't know. Will I watch it? Hell yeah, I love Jake. I hope it is the most watched fight of all time for Jake and Mike Tyson. I love Mike Tyson, love Jake. Jake's my boy. I hope it fucking crushes. But for the life of me, I cannot figure out the upside to this. Because if you're Jake, let's go through the scenario here. If you're Jake, was he 28 years old, whatever the fuck he is? You starch Mike, let's say you knock him out in 30 seconds. The amount of hate he's going to get, he's 27, the amount of hate you're going to get for knocking out a 58-year-old legend, if not the most beloved fighter of all time in boxing, the amount of hate you're going to get, you're not getting approved from the boxing community. It's gonna vote you off the island. People are gonna fucking hate you in the boxing community. They'll make sure you're never allowed to do this again. Meaning not give you big fights. They're gonna try to boycott them all. If you knock out Mike Tyson in 10 seconds with a right hook like Mike Tyson knocked out Homeboy into The Hangover, that ain't good. So there's A. B, you lose to Mike Tyson. You get knocked out with a body shot right in the fourth round. You lost to a 58-year-old. Yeah, but it's Mike Tyson. The boxing community is very aware where Mike Tyson's at. So then you're never going to be taken serious, which is what you want. So you knock him out. Horrible, dude. What the fuck? You just beat up an old man. You get knocked out. They told you this guy's a joke. You got beat up by a 58-year-old. The third scenario here is it goes to decision. And it's a glorified sparring match. And the casuals tune in to watch an actual boxing match, and we get Roy Jones Jr., Mike Tyson, but with a 27-year-old. And you go to decision. That's a disaster, and nobody's coming back. That's a disaster business-wise for Netflix. It's a disaster for Jake Paul. What? They went to decision with 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson wins in that one. Mike Tyson, the only person who wins is not Netflix, not Jake Paul. Mike Tyson wins. He can do no wrong. He gets knocked out. He's 58. Still getting paid. He beats Jake Paul. Fuck yeah. All the old guys are like, yeah, daddy. Goes to decision. Mike Tyson wins. So for Mike Tyson, this is phenomenal. God bless him. Win, win, win. You get knocked out, you're 58. All good, get paid. You beat him? Hell yeah. All the old dudes are rooting for you. Decision? Fuck yeah. You're 58 when decision with a 27-year-old. And you're on Netflix. So Mike's winning. I don't see the upside for Jake Paul, who obviously has a brighter future than Mike Tyson as far as this goes. There's longevity there. And for Netflix, what if, and if this isn't rigged, what if Mike Tyson knocks him out with a right hook? Then what? Then he fights Logan Paul? Like, is that, them now we're back into those weird Bellator days. Remember, it was like Royce Gracie, Ken Shamrock, Dada 5000, all that weird shit. You're back to that, I don't know. And the reason you get into that stuff is you don't know the game. You don't know fighting. The reason you get into those weird, old school fights, big names, remember when they would do those weird fights in Bellator? You can't base your business model off these guys, what they did in the past. There's no longevity. You got to have some young guys, some contenders that people can get invested in. Usually it's TV people get involved that don't know the game. So the upside for Tyson checks all boxes, and Tyson deserves this. For Jake Paul, I don't understand. I'd love to hear. I'd love to talk to him about it. For Netflix, dude, I don't know. Let's say Mike Tyson wins. What are you going to do? What's next? Mike Tyson and then Logan Paul to revenge his brother? And then Mike Tyson KSI? That's the business model? Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I'm an idiot though. I don't know. Maybe Netflix like, oh, this guy's an idiot. This seems to be the most watched fight of all time. We're making so much money, more subscribers. Okay. Well, all the indicators point a different direction. There's no hype on this.
Yeah, I haven't.
I do this for a living, and I have to be reminded it's next weekend, and I'm working that weekend, and I don't care. If it was like a big UFC, if it was like, Schaub, Bilal or whatever, I'd be like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to get a TV and watch it. This, I'm like, all right, I'll see. Oh, it's on Netflix. All right. Chin had to remind me.
I had to remind myself, but no. So I remember,
Jake's my buddy.
And you've met Mike at least once,
I've worked
twice,
with Mike a ton. Yeah. Way more than twice, Jen.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
All right. But anyways, I remember seeing I don't follow boxing, all right? But Showtime All Access, when boxing fights would come up, it will pop up on my YouTube. It would just come up.
Showtime
I've
All
seen
Access?
nothing with
Nothing.
Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. So
And this
they're
a
not
bit
even
of
doing the
this a
YouTube.
bit of problem again with the fight business. Like the UFC does a good job with embeddeds and some of the other stuff. If you're into that, and they used to do an even better job back in the day. Showtime, the best, and that was Floyd. Those all accesses, those were massive. Or the HBO, 24/7s. Those would sell you on a fighter you've never heard of.
Yeah.
I'm like, this Mexican kid.
Yeah.
They give me his life story.
Oof.
He's my favorite fighter of all time. They watch the fight. Like, all right, well.
Leave
And
Schreiber.
multiple
doing
times.
Leave
the
Schreiber.
beat. Oh my god.
But again, Netflix doesn't. No, we did the countdown with Jake last month. Put it out. No, all your fucking fans are on YouTube and social media. You got to build it up, dude. Give us a narrative? Why should we care about it? Because right now I can't figure out the narrative. And if this is me, like most people, is it real? Convince people that there's something to lose here. Convince people that this is an actual organized professional boxing match. That's your job. Because right now, and I know how the sausage is made, I don't know. And if I don't know, Bob at Starbucks sure as fuck doesn't know. So he's not going to watch because he thinks it's fake. That's their job, is to paint the story. It's not Jake Paul's job. Of course, he's going to do his thing. It's not Mike Tyson's job. He's 58. You figure it out. So they're going to have to figure this out. And they have 2 weeks.
You sparked my memory on this. So when you mentioned the ulcers thing with Mike Tyson, right? Do you remember with Showtime and Malka? So they asked me to produce 2 All the Smokes and then 1 of the hot boxing, just audio wise, right? Mm-hmm. And then I got to see Mike Tyson there at the studio, and this is when all the footage came out of him being super fast, and then just me talking to Mike Tyson, hey, your mic's right. Can you? He was like, and I hope this does not sound like a dick, but he just seemed like he was just an older dude that was not functioning correctly.
Correct, Jen.
And then as soon as we started recording,
and how long ago was that?
I don't know, maybe 2 years, a year. I forgot what it was, but whenever we were with Showtime,
I'll piggyback on this. Go ahead, keep going.
So then when I saw that, and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't expect this. And then you would tell me that, dude, these are clips. We saw the Roy Jones whatever match. Mm-hmm. That's the actual thing that we saw that was real. Legit. And these clips are he's this badass. I'm just oh crap, maybe he's not.
Yeah,
he's not actually. I hope he is, because I don't want him to get hurt. But that just triggered that just refreshed my memory on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when you work with them, you're just oh well, all right.
I can't imagine him even. No. I don't know. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Again, that's their job to tell that story. They're storytellers. You got to sell the fight. All fights are built. That's why the UFC is the best promotion in the world, they tell the story. They used to do way better job, but they used to tell the story of the fighter. HBO did it with the 24/7. Showtime did it with All Access. You tell the story of the fighters. Give people a reason to care. Right now, the reason can't be Jake Paul, new to boxing, 27, fighting a old 58-year-old Mike Tyson. That's not a story. There's no storyline there. Nobody's interested in that. They'll figure it out, though. They have 2 weeks.
Yeah, I guess even if the seats aren't selling out that great, as long as there's a huge number of people watching on Netflix that could,
Here's the thing. You're never going to find out the real number
of course.
because they keep all that close to the vest. So we don't know. But the indicator that's not selling well usually lets you know that no matter what number they tell you, they're probably full of shit.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're not telling you the numbers. Because, if the arena's not selling out, and also you don't know how it's going to work either. It's like views on Twitter, where you see a clip on Twitter gets whatever, 1 million views. Does that mean they watched the entire thing? Did they just click through it? Like, because Netflix can be pushing this on everybody's page. If someone just clicks to look at the trailer or clicks on, let me check it out, does that count? Because they have access to how many millions, hundreds of millions of homes, Because I guarantee you the narrative will be most watched fight ever in combat sports history.
I just looked at the date for Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. That was November 28, 2020. So that's a while ago.
And in 4 years, you think he's gotten quicker? Again, it's Netflix job. Tell the story. Yeah, show us. He went to get stem cells done in Mexico. Got all that stuff done before he took this fight. Show us the ulcers aren't a real issue. Explain that him getting off that plane at 58, because that's a huge blow to this. What? You're on a plane they have to stop playing because of ulcers? He's going to fight a 27-year-old in a professional boxing match, and you expect us to think it's real? Okay. But no one's done anything. It's been silence, radio silence. That's their job, not mine, though. Is that it, Chin?
Two really quick things. This one I saw, not yours. Hold on. Did you see this?
Yeah, he thought he was a baby.
He thought Mike Tyson thought Hasbullah was an actual baby, and this is when he did hot boxing like a while ago.
He was like grabbing him and shit.
Hezbollah?
The short guy. The short guy.
Is that a real video when you cradling him? Because it's like,
He's like biting him. He thought he was a little kid.
There was a baby. There was a baby. And I didn't know. I wonder if he punching me. I don't know, man. I just thought I thought I with children.
Yeah.
I'm hugging on this guy.
You grabbing him, kissing him. Yeah, I didn't know if you actually knew him.
He's like 26 years old.
He's like 26 years old.
Yeah, that was super funny. That's from Uncrowned's Instagram.